Tom Bernstein Unfiltered. Unfiltered on 312 Sports.
It's DBU on 312 Sports. Always an important day in the spring when Tom Ricketts descends from the tower to give his preseason speech. And it matters more this year for a lot of reasons. Reasons that are Cubs specific and then more league and MLB game of baseball specific as well. There was a lot going on and a lot of attention paid to what Tom Ricketts had to say, and choosing to do it when he did is obviously going to bring a little bit more disproportionate coverage because of the lack of news headlines going on right now, and he understands that. So there were obviously some people at the Major League Baseball office level listening very carefully to what he had to say publicly for reasons I'll get into in just a bit. But why don't we hear from him, and just for start with hearing what he had to say, and then we're going to respond on some different levels as to why it's a little more meaningful in a lot of ways this year when the owner of the Cubs speaks publicly.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a fun summer. I mean, obviously we have a great baseball team, but a lot of we'll do the 10-year anniversary stuff, and then it's the 150th anniversary of the team. So we have a lot going on. It's going to be a really, really great summer at Wrigley. I mean, everyone had high expectations last year, and I think they're higher this year. I mean, obviously we have, effectively the same team last year, plus a couple of key components that should contribute. So, I mean, I would expect everyone to have higher expectations this year. Well, obviously we want to win the division. We should win the division. It's just a matter of executing and staying healthy, and I think we should be right there. You want to win the division for a lot of reasons, not just because it's aggravating not to, but you want to put yourself in the best position for the playoffs as well. And so hopefully that we'll execute against that plan and be there at the end of the season. Well, I mean, you guys were all there. Wrigley was incredible in those playoff games last year, and it did remind you of some of those games back in 15 and 16 and somewhat 17 where we had just the kind of energy. And obviously we want to have those games every year. Obviously we want to win the World Series every year, but for me too, it's just paying off all the loyal fans who have come to so many games for so many years and given so much to the team, to be able to pay them back with an incredible experience like what we saw in the playoffs last year. That just means a lot to me personally, and I want to do that every year. We just have to win more World Series. I mean, it's about winning. I mean, all this other stuff, it all leads to one thing, and that's about winning. And we just have to put the kind of teams on the field that can be in the playoffs every year and get back on top.
We should win the division. It's about winning more World Series. All good stuff. That's what you ask an owner to say. You ask the owner to say that. You ask the owner to back that up with action. But when you say, well, words are cheap, they are. Sure. But saying stuff matters. The owner using the term World Series, the owner saying we should win our division. First of all, it's just objectively true. But for him to say something less than we want to be competitive at the top of our division, he didn't say that. He mentioned the World Series, and that's good. And that's why it matters more this year, because of where they are in their window, how long that window can be extended. Is there going to be baseball next year is the larger question looming over everything. And the Cubs are going to play a really significant role in ways that they're going to have some agency and in ways that they may not. The winds of the labor negotiation and internal machinations may push the Cubs in directions that are beyond their control based on what we understand is going on at the league level. Now, Ricketts, several times, once he got into what's going on with Marquee and their investment in Marquee, several times, was asked about a national TV deal and or whether or not he was concerned about a salary cap, or whether or not he was supportive of a salary cap, salary floor, which is better described as a salary band. And he deferred that to this amorphous concept of the league. And I smiled at that because it was an artful dodge, to use a Dickensian term, by Ricketts, for him to just say, well, that's the league, and the league is doing this, the league is doing that. Dude, you are the league. You're the owner of one of the wealthy teams. You're the owner of the Chicago Cubs. You've got your own network. It's doing okay. It's not breaking the bank. It's not doing great. It's not spinning like a pinball machine, but it's doing okay. And that matters right now in everything. So I also want to note, as we talk about some of these things and where the Cubs stand in it, that there was news right before we started recording today that the head of the MLB Players Association, Tony Clark, the former All-Star first baseman, is apparently planning to resign within the next couple of days. It's being announced right now because a group connected to the union that he also heads was under some scrutiny for using funds for purposes that were something other than maybe union purposes, that possibly personal. I don't know exactly what's going on there. I don't want to speak out of turn. I just know that it was enough that whatever smoke is swirling around his stewardship of the union was enough that either the rank and file or others on their negotiating committee somewhere said, hey, it's better off if you just move on and we take that out completely. So we're waiting for the official announcement of a potential successor. It might just end up being Bruce Meyer, who has been the deputy executive director and has been the head of their actual negotiation. He's been the lawyer, and he's sort of been the bad cop, with Tony Clark more as the former player good cop in that relation. Certainly at the table, they've put everything on Bruce Meyer to be the guy who's, slamming the binder and walking out or banging his fists and doing all that stuff. I don't know if they want their bad cop to be elevated to what could be a divisive role as the head of the union, but maybe they do want that. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. And I'm not decrying it. And if that's what the union wants and that's the message that they want to send, if in fact Bruce Meyer is that guy, we're going to learn a lot. Or if they keep him there rather than bringing in somebody who might be perceived as deal maker, reach across the table, softer, warmer executive type. So we'll certainly find out, because that's the background that is behind everything that Tom Ricketts is saying here about, well, I'm not going to comment on whether or not we want a salary cap and whether, because as always is the case, it's not players versus owners regarding what happens next year. It's owners versus owners, because your low-end grifters are not the same as your high-end moneymakers. The Dodgers, the Yankees, the Cubs, the Jays, and others with their own networks, even though the Jays don't make the same money as the Dodgers and the Mets, because everything is just Dodgers, Mets, everybody else. Yankees a little bit. But your Pittsburgh Pirates, et cetera, who've been real happy cash and revenue sharing checks and then not spending the money, they're not going to want a salary floor. And but they would love to have the national TV deal, because the secret in this has been the failure of the RSN model. It has been the collapse of Bally's / FanDuel, and the way Rob Manfred has swooped in, and MLB now has essentially the TV rights to half the teams. Half of MLB about has all of their TV production owned and standardized under the auspices of MLB. What Manfred would like, and he's been pretty clear about this, is all the television rights. All of them. And he has some ability unilaterally to take them. It's like eminent domain. He has in their contract the ability to have certain games national. And as I understand what's going on here, and actually I think Jeff Passan of ESPN, as always, has done a really good job, I think. I mean, it was a little flowery the way he wrote it. Not that I'm, I just thought it was a lot more than just the sort of the facts at hand. It was sort of a love letter from a fan of the game to both sides, in which he said, baseball is not in bad shape right now. It's actually got a bounce from having compelling stars, from having all kinds of interesting storylines, from the internationalization of the game, from the pitch clock and what the pitch clock has done to bring people in, to speed everything up, to make the consumption of the game a little bit easier. That they're doing well. The numbers have been really good. And if, in fact, you timeline Manfred's plan here, which would be either convince the big hitters that they'll ultimately make more money in a national TV deal, where he can go to all of the networks and all the streaming services and say MLB, just like the NBA and the NFL do, and you take the local out of it for the most part. Because right now, baseball and these individual teams are way too reliant on their local TV deals. He would like to go nationally and sell it that way. But there are going to be some teams that are going to take a hit. Obviously, the Dodgers and the Cubs. And we don't know what Marquee's books look like. If Marquee gets popped up to the higher level tier on Comcast, that changes things. We know that Marquee has been laying people off. They have not been immune to the pressures on regional sports networks or RSNs. You're going to hear that phrase a lot. You're going to hear the term RSN. And it just stands for regional sports networks like the White Sox have here with CHSN. That model is not healthy, as you can probably tell from generally the amount of promos that you see and how program is being fleshed out, and they're just trying to build this stuff into a 24-hour day on some of these.
Well, I would say, though, Dan, I think that model could be healthy if the team was good.
No, it's unfortunately
okay. Well,
it's
we
hard.
disagree on it.
It's hard. I mean,
I'm sure it's hard, but a shitty team, you're not going to have anybody watch anything. I don't care what programming you have.
The teams that are good that have that programming still might make more money if you trust Manfred to sell the thing nationally. And I think that's going to be the pitch to the Cubs, and that's why a lot of what Tom Ricketts said yesterday about Marquee, I thought was positioning. I thought he was going out of his way to basically say, we like what we've got. We're making money off of it. When he said, we love the network and we love our independence, that I think was really important. That is him telling, not the players, that's him telling Rob Manfred, you're going to have to cut me a massive check. And I don't know privately if the Cubs would love to actually be out of the TV business. I don't know, because they've run into their own headwinds there. They've had, you can see they laid off their entire web department, all of their writers and reporters that had been doing stuff online. And they're basically making this all about the Cubs games themselves. I don't know if looking forward, they want to stay in the TV business, because this is how you might be able to avoid a work stoppage. This is the moonshot here to avoid a work stoppage. It's something that Passon wrote about, that if you can change the game completely, and Manfred he's working against the clock to do this, because MLB's been very opportunistic with Bally's failing and with these other RSNs failing to go right in and scoop them up. Say, all right, we got this. We'll pay the broadcasters. We'll handle the production. Everything is going to be part of MLB, because then you take in, it's all going to be streamed. You can get rid of some of these ridiculous blackouts that they've had through the MLB app and say, well, you're too close to a major market and you can't see this. And even though you're in Iowa, that technically you're a Twins fan based on our maps, and it takes all that silliness out of it. But there's going to be some upfront costs. You're going to have owners against owners here. But I do think it's critical that Ricketts is standing firm when he says, we love the network. We love our independence. And he says the regional sports network model has been under pressure for the last few years. That's certainly putting it lightly and mildly. He said certain teams felt it the most this offseason. It'll take a while to work out. It's a challenge for the entire league. He said, given all the market headwinds for RSNs, I think Marquee is one of the best things we ever did, to be in control of our own destiny, to be able to produce the games we want to produce the way we want to produce them with the right people, the right staff, the right level of production quality. For us, it's been a huge home run, baseball metaphor. It's been able to give us a chance to control our own destiny for a while, maybe the smartest thing we've done in all these years. And I still think that's a way of telling Rob Manfred, for the right number, you can have it. Because otherwise, Manfred does have the power to take away games, to pull games onto a national deal, if in fact he is going to be going from network to network, from streaming service to streaming service, and selling MLB itself as a package. And once we start to get a sense of those numbers, then the union has a better sense of where they stand and to what they might agree. Because the union has always been, and I understand this, I generally also have not bought a lot of the cherry-picked logic behind what a salary cap can do as far as competitiveness and as far as the floor helping to raise all salaries. Pretty good offseason for salaries. Pretty good numbers out there with Bo Bichette and with Kyle Tucker, and the union sees those, and the union does not want to give up those high-end deals. So it's going to have to be a pretty cleverly negotiated band of salaries that does inflate the bottom quarter, the bottom third massively to make any kind of a cap, to make it even something other than just a non-starter right now. But I do think it's a little disingenuous for Ricketts to keep referring to like, well, that's the league. That's at the league level. That's something for the league to deal with. You are the league. And Rob Manfred ultimately works for the owners. There's got to be a negotiation that goes on between Guggenheim Partners and Rob Manfred. That's out in L.A. Between Steve Cohen and Manfred in New York, to say, you're making all this money. You don't have to share as much of this money as you would have to share. But you're not going to do a national deal. Anybody buying those rights is going to be like, if I don't have the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Cubs, the Mets, what are we doing here? So all this is going to happen fairly quickly. And then if I'm the union, I'm just going to sit back and let them trade. When you have it figured out, then come talk to me. When you have a unified front, because if I'm hearing different owners say different things about where this is going, with whom am I negotiating? That's what whoever the new union head is going to be. That's what you got to find out. That, Rob, are you really representing all your owners right now? Otherwise, you're going to have a low-rent grifter owner representative and a high-end own our own networks representative, because you got essentially a bifurcated MLB right now that you got to bring together first before we even sit down and start talking. That's certainly what my position would be if I'm talking to Rob Manfred. I want to know, you're speaking on behalf of whom?
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen. You're not going to get a unified front from the ownership. It's just not going to happen. It's not.
Well, eventually you have to. I mean, for there to be only two parties at the table, there has to be a way of them saying this, what either MLB represents MLB or they don't. They've just got to get it all in order first, and they're supposed to start in April. Like these negotiations,
I just don't see how they get that in order. How do the Yankees, the Dodgers, even other teams that maybe not spend as much but are competitive and play well and benefit from, an RSN like Atlanta, Philadelphia, Washington, teams like that. I mean, how are you going to get those guys to come to the table and say, yeah, we'll forfeit what we're doing or change what we're doing?
Money. I think it's a matter of how they structure it. It might not be immediate. It might be a way that they sunset certain ways of generating revenue and move them into others over time, and say, if you get certain thresholds, if this revenue is here, you contribute this. There's all kinds of ways they can do it without it being as abrupt.
Yeah,
but
I would just start with having every team spend a minimum. Spend a certain amount, whether you want to call it a band or the floor. I mean, just start spending more money.
Well, they won't do that without a maximum. There's going to be no floor without a cap, no cap without a floor. And it wouldn't ultimately what's hilarious is the data suggests that as far as competitive balance goes, it really doesn't do all that much. Capped leagues are not necessarily, they don't have more parity than uncapped leagues, depending on how playoffs are structured. Because the best thing baseball has going in that regard is the randomness of the playoffs. That once the small sample size and the randomness of the game is, you can have teams that make the playoffs more regularly or give themselves a chance because they're spending that money. But once the playoffs come, and now you got a third of the league essentially that makes the playoffs. Once you get there, essentially anything can happen, despite what the Dodgers have done the last couple of years. Because I laugh at these narratives, because if Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, he's only Kiner-Falefa. He's not Isaiah totally Falefa. He's kind of Falefa. That if he gets a better lead off a third, all the narratives change. He steps on home plate and he's in that split second play at the plate. All of these narratives change. All of a sudden it is, well, we can't do business. Look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers win everything. The Dodgers win. What can we do? Look at what the Dodgers are doing. We set these massive narratives in stone based on these tiny little changes. And if his foot gets to the plate, the tone of the negotiation is entirely different right now, because, well, look what the Blue Jays did. And they aren't talking about what the Dodgers. Meanwhile, the Dodgers are always out of pitching every year anyway. Every year. They spend on all the pitching, and then they're out of pitching. And there are the larger sample size of numbers suggest that if you make the playoffs, you certainly have an opportunity right here. I do think that Tom Ricketts going out of his way to talk about how happy he is with Marquee is it's a bit of a projection. They're not 100% happy. Based on everything we know, it has been less than the quote wheelbarrows full of cash unquote that Crane Kenny mentioned when they thought that they were just going to be throwing off so much cash they wouldn't know what to do with it. It's been a little bit tougher sledding with Marquee than perhaps they once thought, which is why they've downsized. And it might be easier for them to get a big chunk of money, just simply cash their national checks, and exit the local television business in the longer term.
Well, if they're not going to make a good product, that's what they should do, yes.
Well, that we can debate that. We can certainly debate the quality of the Marquee product. As far as my tastes go, it's been far less than what I thought it could be.
What it should be.
Absolutely. And that's just my personal taste. The only thing I watch on Marquee are the games themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I get nothing from any pregame or postgame that I feel I'm missing out. And really, they fired the guy that I thought was doing some of the best stuff. Tony Andracki and a lot of their writers who they got rid of in various sports. I miss that content more than I miss anything that I see with various over-the-counter pharma infomercials that run for hours on end throughout the day. I got
a name for you. I have a name for you real quick.
A name?
Yes. Have you heard the name David Basabe?
David Basabe. I've not.
Okay. He's from Venezuela.
Okay.
Just had a agreement signed with the Philadelphia Phillies. Left-handed hitting shortstop.
The White Sox had a cut. There was a Luis Basabe, and then there were two Luis Basabes. Remember, and we were confused about which Basabe they got. And it was either the Eaton deal or the Sale deal.
Yeah, this is David Basabe, left-handed hitting shortstop. Signed a deal with the Phillies for $1.8 million. He's 11 years old, Dan.
He must be really good.
He's 11 years old.
Okay.
He's 11. And he had a pre-agreement was signed with the Phillies for $1.8 million at 11 years old.
All right. Is that legal?
Well, it's done. I can't. Why wouldn't it be legal?
I don't know. See, he was born in Venezuela. David Basabe. That's a lot.
It's ridiculous is what it is.
1.8 million. His cousin is Osleivis Basabe. And it does say the baseball culture Basabe belongs to a surname already present. Venezuelan player Luis Alexander Basabe debuted in 2020. His cousin Osleivis Basabe, 2023, said Basabe grew up surrounded by professional bloodlines. All right. MLB rules require players be 16 before.
So it's a pre-agreement. Yes. Pre-agreement.
Okay. Any agreement remains unofficial. So an agreement to agree is not really an agreement.
It's still insane. I don't care how you want to dress it up, how you want to word it.
I mean, is that really different than a scholarship offer for a 7-year-old?
Which is also insane.
College basketball?
And here's the biggest issue I have with this. And you spent a lot of time in youth sports, and I know you coached kids in baseball, in youth sports, spent a lot of time around youth hockey. I've spent the last several years, 8 years, involved heavily in youth sports. This is the kind of shit that ruins parents when it comes to their kids in youth sports.
Because they think they're going to get the 1.8 million?
They're like, why can't that be my kid? My kid's a good lefty hitter.
Because your kid sucks. Is usually the answer.
The bad parts of youth sports aren't the kids, and it's not the volunteer umpires.
I know.
And it's not even the paid coaches that do it on their own time or the volunteer parent coaches. It's the parents that watch in the bleachers and in the stands. It's the parents that ruin kids' sports. And to see this is just, it's really awful. It's really awful. 11 years old, gets a pre-agreement that really, at the end of the day, means nothing.
Yeah, I want to know.
$1.8 million.
I would like to know more.
For an 11-year-old that weighs 100 pounds and...
Because remember, this idea of it coming out is like it could mean that one local agent representing himself said, "Hey, I got a promise from the Phillies." Before I weigh in too hard, I want to know. I want to hear. I haven't heard anything from the Phillies about this.
I know, but I don't need to know any more than that because unless this guy's making this up completely on his own, the Phillies have somehow been involved, and it's insane. It really is. If there's any conversation happening with a Major League Baseball team and an 11-year-old kid, a kid who knows what happens when they to talk about a kid who hasn't gone through puberty yet is just insane.
Yep.
When it comes to athletics and sports and potential, it's insane. But I heard it this morning. It's so disgusting. Like, come on, fellas, seriously.
Yeah, I would like to find out because I'm sure this will percolate throughout the day. Then maybe it ends with the Phillies saying something like, "No, I don't." This is somebody speaking out of turn. I would like to get some sort of comment from somebody because considering how little is happening in sports, my guess is people will latch on to this.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure
we'll know more tomorrow.
Will. And maybe it's completely maybe fabricated, but. That's got some. I mean, whoever would bring this up would have some giant balls to, invoke the name of a Major League Baseball team and say we have a pre-agreement in place.
Yes,
that's real big balls. So to me, it sounds like someone at least had a conversation. Something was done or said about an 11-year-old kid. It's just, man, it's really pathetic.
I have another update on a story that we have covered. If you follow the Chicago White Sox on Instagram, you will see that they have put out a poster of White Sox players. Have you seen this?
I have.
It says American-born Black All-Stars. And on the poster, and it's a pretty cool looking thing. There's some action shots, some of the, a smattering of all of the White Sox uniforms over the years. Al Smith, Tommy Agee, Carlos May, Pat Kelly, Dick Allen, Chet Lemon, Harold Baines, Frank Thomas, Albert Bell, Ray Durham, James Baldwin, Carl Everett, Jermaine Dye, and Tim Anderson. And yes, you heard me. Frank Thomas is front and center, finishing off one of his powerful swings and looking at the ball, as my guess is it heads over the fence. And this is breaking news. Guess who's black? Black again. Big Hurt's black. Tell a friend.
Well, this is the first thing they've done with Frank Thomas, right? And for Black History Month. So it goes back to February 1st when they put their first thing out on social media, and now 16 days.
Yep. It took him 16 days. Apparently, he has passed the test. He has run the gauntlet. He has proved himself in the eyes of the White Sox once again, because they did not recognize him before as being a significant black player in their history. But retroactively, congratulations, Frank Thomas is once again, at least per the White Sox, he once again qualifies as black. So that's notable.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yes, and there's Ray Durham just above him and Dick Allen just above him, giving you this great traditional through line here. So congrats to Frank Thomas that he's welcomed back to the fold. If and when the White Sox have their barbecue, he certainly will. Once again, he has earned an invite. So congrats, man. I think that's very cool. It actually is kind of a neat looking poster.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
I did not expect Carl Everett to be on it. I just didn't.
I thought putting him on a dinosaur, though, was interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
I think him riding a Triceratops was I did not expect Carl Everett. He looks good on here.
Mm-hmm.
Good smiling Ray Durham is always nice to see. Chet Lemon, one of my original dudes.
I love that. One of the best baseball names ever, too.
Oh, and I'll never forget Chet Lemon's 1984 because of what he did to left-handed pitching, and I think it was left-handed. He had a platoon split on the cards for Pursue the Pennant in 84, where no matter however the dice came, there were 3 dice, and however they came up, Chet Lemon was doing something great, and he was on that 84 Tigers team, that the wire to wire 84 Tigers team, and I just remember always being like, oh, Chet Lemon's up. Don't even bother rolling the dice. It's a hit somewhere, because it always was. But yeah, good for Frank. Congratulations to him. And you know what this means at this point in Dan Bernstein Unfiltered. It is time for a 312 Sports Olympic update. Here is our Olympic correspondent, Matt Abaticola.
Well, it's exciting times last night here for USA, Dan, in what is now my favorite sport ever in Winter Olympics, the women's monobob.
Monobob.
Yep. The monobob, bobsleigh. It's called the monobob. So it's my favorite. And a great story last night for yesterday for Ilana Myers-Taylor of the U.S.
Yeah, she's like 60. How old is she?
Well, she's 41.
41, okay.
41. She won gold medal. It's her 6th medal in monobob.
But first gold.
Sledding. But her first gold, yes. So really significant. Callie Humphreys finished 3rd, got the bronze, and then a monobob driver from Germany finished with the silver. But her first gold, they had a really nice feature on her before the race actually took place. She has 2 young boys that are 3 and 1 in that age range. Both are born deaf, and it's just a really nice story on her family and her and the hard work and trying to get this gold medal for the first time ever. And she won the gold medal last night in the women's monobob.
Good.
The new official winter sport of DBU, the monobob.
Monobob.
I love it. All right. Other news too. The women's ice hockey gold medal game is set, and of course, it's Canada against the U.S. That game will take place tomorrow at 12:10. Bronze game is Switzerland and Sweden going for the bronze. So Canada beat Switzerland 2-1.
Okay,
so it was a closer game than expected. The U.S. has 5 consecutive shutouts going into this gold medal game against Canada tomorrow. On the men's side of things for ice hockey, USA plays. They play tomorrow at 2:10. They're waiting for their opponent, but it's really just setting up for the gold medal game, which will take place Sunday night in the men's ice hockey between Canada and U.S. I'm sure that'll happen. So we'll look forward to that gold medal game Sunday evening. I do want to give a quick shout out to the nation of Brazil, Dan, with their one medal they have so far.
I know it. It's the skier. I saw him.
It's gold, yes, and it's alpine skiing.
I saw it. I watched.
Their only medal was in alpine skiing, men's side for Brazil.
He is a very charismatic young man. He is quite he cuts quite the figure. It's very impressive. Just and to see the Brazil colors going down a snowy mountain was
so bizarre,
was
right?
very odd. Yes,
very odd. So shout out there. Also last night, Japan wins the gold in pairs figure skating. Canada on the women's side, big air freestyle ski. Netherlands, I think they got their 5th gold medal in speed skating. This was the 1,000 meter. So on the women's side, Netherlands, the nether region. And then Austria gets the men's gold in the super team ski jump. The medal count right now, Norway pulling away.
Super team ski jump?
Yeah.
What's that?
I think they're really good at it.
Super team. Is that like the Super Friends?
It might be.
Okay.
Maybe you're a superhero, so that's not fair.
Oh.
But that was the Austrian men's team. They win. On the gold medal or on the medal count overall, Norway pulling away from Italy. Norway with 29 now. Italy at 23. U.S. is in third with 19. Japan 18 and Germany 17. So Italy, U.S., Japan, and Germany, all chasing Norway. In the medal count.
All right. And by the way, the Brazilian skier Lucas Pinheiro Brothen won the gold medal for men's alpine ski. And that has been a 3-1-2 Sports Olympic update. You know, when you take a handful, you take really, really good ground beef, like ground brisket or short rib or ground filet mignon, and you've got everything salted and peppered just right, and then you've got the hot pan on the stove, and you got the fan turned on, and you smash that thing down with your spatula. And I have to admit, sometimes I just use my hand because I'm cooking it for me and I don't care. And I've been doing that with the Omaha Steaks burgers that I have. It is ground filet mignon. That's the way to do it, man. Because I did patty melts, and I've been making these like dark rye, like the really flavorful black rye patty melts. So I toast that up. I toast up the bread, or if you really want to, you can finish them a little bit in the grease from the beef if you really want to do it right. But I've got it down to a science now because I've got the grilled onions with the caramelized edges. I buy I like American cheese, but not the pre-packaged slices. The good, it's actual cheese, not Americanized processed cheese food or whatever they call it. But that particular beef, those burgers from Omaha Steaks are unbelievable. And people at home make fun of me because they're like, are you making burgers again? Like, no. It looks like you're making burgers. I said, no, I'm making patty melts. Like, oh, so you are making burgers. I said, no, they're different. So get off me. They're different things, but they're all awesome. And the great thing about Omaha Steaks is I always know that I can go downstairs to the chest freezer and open that thing up in the basement and be like, okay, what incredible protein am I going to have tonight? You can also have that very same feeling, whatever you may like. Maybe you like those smash burgers like I do. Maybe also like I do, you occasionally will do the steak and eggs. I do my sort of Waffle House style steak and eggs. Maybe just high protein snacks. Having all of those high quality proteins on hand make dinners easy and unbelievably satisfying. And right now you can get 50% off during the President's Day sale for Omaha Steaks. They have burgers and chicken and pork and seafood, and not to mention all the desserts, their fan favorite filet mignon, the bacon wrapped filet mignons. Those are you can pop them out. They defrost quickly, and then dinner is there or your meal is there. So celebrate President's Day, the exceptional handcrafted flavor and convenience of Omaha Steaks, the choice of steakhouses, professional chefs around the world. This is grass-fed, grain-finished beef with more marbling for exceptional flavor. And you cannot beat this deal right now if you have been waiting to do this, or maybe in this weather, my God, perhaps you're already going out and getting the big thing of propane and starting to fire up the grill, or maybe you are a year-round through the winter griller as well. This is your chance. 50% off the world's best everyday protein. Go to omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide right now during this sale. For an extra $35 off, I've got a promo code for you. It's easy to remember. It's my last name, Bernstein. Bernstein is going to get you an extra $35 off. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com. An extra $35 off with promo code Bernstein at checkout. So go and do that. I've got news about a kind of business that has been in the news in Chicago. Perhaps you know. I don't know if Chicago is a particularly popular place for sex dungeons. I just like saying sex dungeon. And it's in the news once again. Because you'll remember, and I think we talked about this 3 years ago, there was a woman who got in a little bit of trouble because Jessica Nesbitt, Madame Priscilla Bell, as is her nom de guerre, pleaded guilty to prostitution conspiracy. It was called Kink Extraordinaires. She had, guess how many clients she had at this West Side sex dungeon? How many?
Was it over 1,000?
9,000 clients.
Oh, Jesus. So that's a yes.
9,000 clients, including people holding, quote, positions of prestige in the community, including in law enforcement and government. Well, here's another business this is new. Chicago's Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection has, at least temporarily, per the Sun-Times, shut down another business operating as a sex dungeon. The Sex Cauldron? I thought they shut that place down. They're trying to determine where it fits in the city's licensing code and whether allowing it to resume operations would have a negative impact on the community.
Well, is there a free buffet that goes with it? Because it could be a restaurant then.
Well, that's part of it. See, it's interesting that you say that because they don't know exactly where to put it. Because they're saying the business is seeking to operate in a gray area of the city's business licensing code that doesn't fall into just one license category. And I don't know that I want like Eggs Benedict with my BDSM. Maybe some people do.
Have you ever tried it?
I have not,
well,
actually.
I
haven't tried either. I haven't tried either one.
You might enjoy both.
Oh, no, I have tried eggs, but I do. And I make wonderful eggs.
As I say, you've had Eggs Benedict.
Yeah, I don't make my own hollandaise, though. Do you make your own hollandaise?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? It's not that hard.
Yeah, it is.
It's not.
It is hard.
You got to do it right.
Do you have a copper pan?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Got everything you need, Dan. My kitchen upstairs is like it's like a restaurant.
Yeah, I don't have a copper pan, so I can't really do it. But
I usually wear the copper pan on my head though when I do the hollandaise.
Yeah. A hollandaise. So they said, we're trying to figure out what to do. It's making us think a little bit. We're looking at the code to see where this lands. They're calling it a temporary cease and desist order.
Do they give the options of where it's at? Like where they?
No, they don't tell you. I know, but they're saying that they're not. So this is Ivan Capafali, the Business Affairs and Consumer Protection Commissioner. He said they're very responsible business owners. They're not irresponsible. They came to us. They were very honest and transparent with us. We appreciate that. They explained their business model to us. There's a lot of activities they want to do. We issued a cease and desist order until we can figure this out. Capafali refused to identify the name or location of the alleged sex dungeon, nor would he pinpoint the Chicago neighborhood. They said how long the cease and desist lasts and whether Mayor Brandon Johnson's administration will seek to strengthen the code to make the shutdown permanent will depend on the investigation now underway. So they said, we want to make sure we know what they're doing and there is value to the community. Make sure this is not going to cause a problem to the community. This is not something that's going to be seen as a crime. It's just a complicated situation.
Can it just be like a social club? Wouldn't that be a business?
It
code?
could, but it's a social club, but it's a sex dungeon.
Okay. A lot of people have a lot of different social activities they enjoy together.
Yeah. I'm not judging.
Yeah, I mean, if there's nothing illegal happening and people are doing it and it's all consensual type stuff and the people that are involved want to be there and want to do it, then yeah, just what's the issue?
All I'm saying is if Jessica Nesbitt's West Side business, if Kink Extraordinaires was shut down, 9,000 clients is a massive client base. Like they're clearly.
Why were they shut down? What was the? I mean, did I hear prostitution?
Well, no, because she pleaded guilty to a prostitution conspiracy.
Okay, well, yeah, that's the issue.
Because it was, and her lawyers said fetish-based eroticism is not unlawful, but then she admitted arranging for prostitution appointments and performing acts herself while charging rates of up to $1,000 per hour.
Yikes.
Depending on the services provided. I wonder what goes for $1,000. She said that
it's more than a foot massage.
Then assistant U.S. attorney said Nesbitt used email accounts to invite clients to sex and fetish parties with names like Black Tie Bazaar and Halloween Mischief. Kink Extraordinaires has been described as the premier dungeon of Chicago. Beautiful, psychologically sophisticated kinksters who play out of a private 5-floor dungeon with multiple fully equipped theme rooms. Now, Chicago Illusions is the name of this one, and that is a sex dungeon that advertises BDSM services, bondage and discipline, dominance and submission, sadism and masochism, and they had taken advantage of a Cook County program to give tax breaks to owners of small storefront buildings that also have apartments. The owner of that business used the program to cut his real estate taxes by 60% a year because the building has apartments upstairs that allow the whole building to be taxed as residential rather than commercial. So Chicago Illusions, according to the property records filed with Cook County Assessor Fritz Kagi, he's still on top of the teeter-totter right now. Have you seen his commercials?
Yes.
Yes. His Fritz. And I couldn't tell. You want to go up or like, are you, I was confused as to the metaphor of why up was bad and down was good. Like it wasn't quite there for me, but go Fritz, I guess. And they said they advertised the BDSM services, but the dungeon's operator, dungeon master, is that what you call yourself? Said he doesn't use the apartments for his sex business. It's limited to the 1,450 square foot ground floor retail space. And that business is at 1210 West Grand. Sweet. So what's that near? Is that near like 1210 West Grand? Is that La Scarola? Is that close to La Scarola?
No idea.
Yeah, it is. It is because because D'Amato's is right there. Yeah, it's not that far. You know, you want to go get yourself a.
You can pregame it there at La Scarola.
Yeah, you can go have some eggplant parmesan or a little of their chicken Vesuvio. I like the escarole and sausage and white beans, and it's all good. I mean, it's really good. You can go to D'Amato's, get yourself a cannoli, and then head on over and get naked and
you can fill your cannoli.
Yeah, and get whipped by a cat of nine tails if that's what floats your boat. I can get right on Ogden, zip home. It's perfect. I think we got a night ahead of us.
Yeah. Give us a full review.
All right. Well, that's your sex dungeon update if you were looking for that, because I'm going to keep an eye on this story just to make sure we're fully aware. And we got to find out where it is, because somehow if there were 9,000 clients of just one business in this city, that's what you call a growth industry. The conference races are tightening. Bubble teams fighting for their lives. Maddie was watching some stuff last night. I put you in charge of scouting the Houston Cougars. Yes. What do you think?
Yeah, so they lost last night to Iowa State at Iowa State 70-67. So I covered the 2.5 there, which was great. Although my Duke pick, I lost Syracuse getting 20. Duke won by like 37. So
That's
missed
the
my
old
parlay there.
motorboating is what that is.
Yeah, but I'm 8-2 in my last 10 college games against the spread, so looking pretty
way.
good. Houston's Houston. They're second in the nation in points allowed. They're real long and they're very quick. They play a man defense, and I think one area that you can get to them is on the defensive rebounds. So if you ask specifically about Illinois, Illinois is one of the better offensive rebounding teams in the nation. They're top 30. I think they're 29 right now, but they can get there. What makes Houston really good, outside of their quickness, their length. They take care of the ball offensively. They don't turn the ball over. They're number one in turnovers in the nation. So being very efficient offensively helps lead to really good defensive setup as well, too. So you're not going to get a lot of turnovers. You're not going to create a lot of points off turnovers off of Houston. But yeah, it was a really exciting game, and they had the lead for a lot of the game. And that's a really tough environment to go in and play. But it was a fun game to watch. But I split my parlay though for last night.
All right,
They have two guys that score, Kingston Flemings and Emmanuel Sharp.
Okay.
They average like 16 points a game. Again, they don't steal the ball a ton. They're just really efficient in the way they play defense. And
All right,
really with the ball too.
well done. Appreciate the scout. That's good stuff right there. And maybe Illinois is a better matchup than I thought. If this is
It might be, yeah.
an atypical team from that program, so maybe this is Illinois' chance. Who knows?
Yeah, Illinois plays at USC tomorrow. Then they get UCLA before they host currently number one Michigan.
Got a couple of passings to note here. First of all, and more importantly, the Jesse Jackson died at age 84, and I don't know that I'm really in a position right now, having just sort of found out about it when I woke up today, to put into context what a massively significant voice he's been. He has been the preeminent civil rights voice in America in my lifetime. No exaggeration and really no debate, certainly for those of us from Chicago. And this is somebody who marched with Dr. King, and someone who the tireless efforts of the Rainbow Push Coalition, which I believe is still headquartered here in Kenwood, a remarkable and powerful, significant public figure in my lifetime, since I've been in memory, in my entire memory, the most immediate, significant, and local, while being also of global importance, public figure, Jesse Jackson of Chicago, who passed away at age 84 from complications from Parkinson's disease. Also, Robert Duvall died, and in looking back and some of the retrospectives about everything that he was in, what he did in both film and television, I've got to tell you, there were movies that you forget. I didn't know that obviously we knew his first role was Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird, but I forgot that he had a part in the movie Bullet, that, the great Steve McQueen cop movie, the great chase movie, but just the going all the way through the filmography of Robert Duvall has really been something. And then watching the scenes that are put up, there's so many. We remember all the famous ones. I mean, you probably know, Godfather and Godfather 2, well enough to recite the lines. The one I was really happy that I saw again that I hadn't seen was the movie Network.
Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise?
Network. I have never seen that.
Oh, okay.
Is that one that you're going to be mad at me for not having seen?
No, I'm not going to be mad at you for it. So not for that one.
Okay. Because the 1976 movie Network, which is as dark a satire as you're going to find, that unfortunately, even though it tried to be shocking in what it could be as a satire, it's almost quaint in its portrayal of an anything for money news network that exploits the mental illness of its anchor. I'm not going to give any spoiler alerts here, but do see Network if you haven't, and it's an important movie. Robert Duvall plays a guy named Frank Hackett, who is the programming head of the network, not the news head of the network. And it shows the battle between money and ratings and the concept of a real newsroom and what it means to exist for the public good. And with everything that has just gone on and is continuing to go on today, particularly with the Washington Post and Jeff Bezos and firing all the people that they fired, what is happening at the once great and now sad CBS News, with every passing day that happens there, the movie network is more and more brilliant and applicable and important. But Robert Duvall is in the scene where he fires Max Schumacher, when he fires William Holden's character, and he's been waiting to do it, waiting to get rid of him, and explains that he's got a hit on his hands, and all that matters isn't the news, it's having the big hit. So it plays today better than perhaps it ever even knew. Was it 50 years ago? 1976? 50 years ago. 50 years ago. And it still holds up.
His best line he ever delivered was in Four Christmases. Did you see that?
I thought you were going to say Apocalypse Now.
No, he plays Vince Vaughn's dad, and he talks about his ex-wife's boyfriend. He calls him a first-class ass sniffer. which is a line that I've stolen and used against people and driving or out in public and dealing with public people. You're a first-class ass sniffer.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
He's of course Tom Hagen.
You've seen Four Christmases, right?
No.
Okay.
I couldn't even tell you what it's about.
All right. Could you take a guess though, Dan, by the title?
Christmas?
Yes. Good job. Way to go. All right. So you were saying he plays Tom Hagen?
Yes, he of course played Tom Hagen. He won the Oscar in 1983 for his portrayal of an aging, down on his luck country singer in Tender Mercies. Also haven't seen that. Also really not interested in seeing that. I'm sure it's great. But that's a great. How many didn't Jeff Bridges win his Oscar for also playing like an aging country singer? What was the name of that movie?
Oh,
really good movie. He has the drinking problem. He's got the little niece.
I don't remember.
I loved that movie. But that's you want to win an Oscar. Be the aging country singer guy at some point. Nobody drinks a long neck beer like Jeff Bridges. Nobody.
Have you seen Kicking and Screaming?
No.
Okay. How about Gone in 60 Seconds?
No.
Colors?
Yes.
Okay, so you saw Colors.
I liked Colors, yes.
Okay.
Yes, he was the older cop to Sean Penn's younger cop.
Correct. How about Sling Blade?
That was Maria Conchita Alonso in Colors, and also Trinidad Silva, whose work I liked.
Very good. How about Sling Blade?
Street Blues. I've seen some scenes from Sling Blade, but not in its entirety, no.
All right, True Grit came out when you were born.
I've seen the original True Grit, yes.
Yep, imagine you would. Wild Horses?
Nope.
The Natural?
Yeah, but bad. Not a fan.
It is bad. It's not good.
No.
That's not a good movie.
No.
He was with Denzel in the movie John Q. Did you see that?
Mm-mm. Okay. He did like to work. I'll give him credit.
Oh, he's got a lot of movies.
He liked to work. He's not quite Michael Caine, but he's got 90 credits. Really is.
Yeah, he's got a lot. Yeah,
I think he's got 90. That's pretty good because he died at 95. That's a damn good average right there.
Was he 95?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So, a very important actor from the era when movies really became if you ever want to read Easy Riders, Raging Bulls,
yeah,
about the 70s and what exploded in the movie making and what happened with these big swaggering directors and these auteurs in the 1970s. There's a lot of stuff in that book about Godfather and how Godfather got made and who was up for what role, etc. But Robert Duvall was one of those real ones.
Did you see Open Range with Kevin Costner and Annette Bening?
Nope.
Western. Okay. How about the Judge with Robert Downey Jr.?
Here come the Judge. Nope.
Nope. Okay. You should maybe see Days of Thunder. It's Top Gun in cars.
I'm good.
Cool.
I think I'm good on that one. Let me guess. Tom Cruise has some sort of crisis of confidence late in the movie, and then somehow is able, thinking back through something that's important to him, able to summon the courage to, I don't know, re-engage competitively.
Correct.
And I haven't seen it, but
it was after a terrible accident.
Oh, there it is. She just had to get over
the crash,
losing Goose in the accident, and somehow not blaming himself and getting through all that. Got it. Okay, I'm good then. There, I just experienced Days of Thunder, and rest in peace, Robert Duvall.
Oh, it's also you know whose birthday it is today?
I don't.
It's Michael Jordan's.
Oh,
63 today.
3.
Yes.
Well, happy
63
birthday.
years old. Happy birthday, Michael Jordan.
What a birthday present he got winning the Daytona 500.
Yes, he did. Did you see the online controversy that happened after that win?
Well, he was fondling a little boy, right?
He was like pinching a little dude's butt. Yeah.
Yes, I did see that. I wasn't really quite sure what was going on or if it was
I'm not
real.
quite sure why he was doing it. I wouldn't really categorize that as sexual assault like people were saying.
No.
Yeah.
When I saw it, he was just like pulling on his shirt, squeezing his top of his butt, and then he tickled his legs.
Yeah. So, but happy birthday anyway.
That's
MJ.
a big deal. People are mad at him.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Sexual assault.
Oh my God. Really? Yep. No, nobody's actually saying that.
Dan, I've seen it online. Look it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, happy birthday, Mike.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Michael. And
happy birthday, Mike.
Yeah. And and maybe we can get Michael canceled and Epstein files will be fine.
Please. Come on.
I know.
It's unreal. Well, that will do it for Dan Bernstein Unfiltered on this Fat Tuesday. Get your punchkis. I learned yesterday that it's punchak is the singular and punchaki. There's a syllable in there that gets elided. So I learned that yesterday.
That's awesome.
Punchak and great. Punchki. So get that today.
I used to love this day back at the station because Jay Zawoski would always bring in boxes and boxes of.
Well, Tingle said he was bringing in. He had a bunch ordered and then he forgot them. He said he paid for them. And he was supposed to pick them up at some Polish bakery.
That sounds fishy to me.
How do you forget?
That sounds real fishy. That's real shady, right?
No,
there.
He was mad at himself. He was stomping around the hallways like, damn it. No, he was.
How'd you forget?
I don't know. I don't know. I can ask him, but he was apologetic.
So no punchkis for you?
No, I might have had a couple, after dinner tonight.
I got a homemade batch upstairs right now, so I'll go.
Oh, do you?
No, I'm just
no, you don't.
No, I didn't.
But you make your own hollandaise. You don't make your own punchkis.
Make everything, man. Everything from scratch.
You don't make your own hollandaise.
I do, dude. I make everything from scratch. If you're gonna eat it, do it right.
But you don't make everything. You don't make your own ketchup.
Yeah, I do.
All right, that's enough. No, you don't.
You should. You should make your own ketchup. It's super easy, and it's just a handful of ingredients. You just need some tomato paste, and you need some vinegar, some spices of your choice. That's all you really need.
And lots
of
sugar.
Water. Yeah.
All right, well, that will do it for Dan Bernstein Unfiltered.
Dan Bernstein Unfiltered on 312 Sports.